Head trash is the number one reason that you are not closing sales. And in this video, Dashaun Bryant and I have a very real conversation to teach you how to clear it so you can start closing more sales. If you've ever had these little thoughts that run through your mind, like, I'm not good enough, why would someone ever want to buy from me? Hey, I wonder what they're thinking if I'm the 100th roofer that shows up. Well, this video is for you because that, my friend, is head trash. Now, I get the privilege of working alongside Dashaun Bryant inside the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance. The idea of head trash has come up over and over again. And I wanted to bring this incredibly rich conversation to you and your team. So do me a favor, share it in the group chat right now, and let's rock and roll. I'll see you inside. Dude, your interview we did together, we're an unlikely duo. People aren't used to seeing us together and don't realize like we're friggin' homies.
Yeah, my brother, man. My brother.
Yeah. This concept of head trash has been coming up frequently. Like I'm hearing it in RSRA, coming from sales reps. We just had a team join that said, hey, I just got to get my team's head trash cleared up. Like to you, what is head trash?
So to me, the way I view head trash, because you know me, I'm big on mindset. I'm big on making sure I got a very rich garden up here because, you know, trash in is trash out, and you know, good stuff in is good stuff out. So when I think of head trash, I think of negativity. I think of cynicism. I think that's the word, right? Cynicism, right? Cynical people. I think of apathy, right? I think of doubt. I think of being overly controlling when it comes to results, even though that don't seem like they would go in that same category. I think people who are so result driven and result controlling, you got head trash because you think you can control these numbers and you can't, right? I think of people who can't compartmentalize. I think people who lack the ability to compartmentalize got a lot of head trash because you bring baggage from home to work, you bring work to home, and that creates some level of head trash as well. Obviously, you got negativity, and you just got a lack of self-belief. You got an unhealthy relationship with competition. You view it as competition done been here. There's nothing left over for you. So even you got an unhealthy relationship with abundance. You believe in scarcity. So I believe a lot of these things fall in the category of head trash. All of these things kind of you creating a concoction of a potion. And every time you speak, that's all that's coming out of your mouth. How it ain't enough of this going on. And where your focus goes, your energy flows. So also you have the inability to focus on the right things. You focus on all of the things that don't get you the way you want to be. So you creating more head trash. So if I had to like say what comes to my mind, those are all the things that I say come to mind when I think of head trash.
Yeah. I love you're one of my most you're actually are my most quote worthy friend. Where your focus flows, your energy goes. And on that, the idea of head trash is that it becomes the focal point. You know, it's like when you drive by a train wreck, you can't help but turn, but the train wreck is your toxic thoughts. And then you bring that to the world. So you and I jumped on the phone the other day and I was like, dude, we got to do we have to have a conversation around this. And obviously everything that happens in RSRA is confidential. I'm going to just share an anecdote of a story without revealing private information, but just this, it was either this morning. Yeah, this morning. I jumped in there and I saw one of our members was talking about someone on their team, said, man, he's got everything down pat. Role play is great. You know, we learned all of his pitches in our training and he's killing it. But then he gets on the doors and he doesn't believe in himself. Like all of a sudden that live time pressure makes his performance drops. And he's like, well, what do I do? And if you would have asked me even a few years ago, I would have been like, dude, you know, keep drilling. And I don't know if you saw my response in there yet. Probably not. Cause it was
not yet.
Yeah.
Was it like 6 a.m?
No, I jumped. I think it was just only a couple hours ago when I got
okay.
But I wrote a very detailed response like, man, I used to think, you know, it's all the strategy, which is super important. But what this individual, the team really needs to work on is being a confident human. And that starts from within. You can have all the things, you know, he's got what it takes. He's got the training, he's got the skills, but he's got to unlock the warrior in him, the self-belief in him. So what I'd love to do is get into that. And before we do, how does confidence connect with head trash in your mind?
Oh, so I'm glad you said that, right? Because and let's just use that guy for an example, right? No names,
Hmm.
no nothing. But one piece of confidence that people drop the ball on is confidence comes from not being compliant, which means you need a sense of adventure and a sense of exploration to build your confidence up. So this
Hmm.
guy, like, I done learned the script, I done learned the objections, I done did everything they told me to do. And then I
Hmm.
go on the door and I do everything they tell me to do, and I'm floundering. And I tell
Right.
guys, you missing the sense of adventure that goes with it. You missing the sense of doing your own thing. You learn the script, you get embodied with those things, but you got to go out there and have fun. My first year in the game, I'm super compliant, just rigid at the door. Then I was like, you know what? Let's start doing this my way and see how it goes, right? Now
Hmm.
I'm knocking on the doors and I'm like, what's up, big dog? How you doing today? And everybody pounding me up, and ladies coming to the door, and instead of saying, hey ma'am, I'm like, what's up, lovely lady? How you doing today? And they smiling and they grinning. And I'm just using the most unique ways to approach the door, icebreakers to say, but just the thing that come to my mind, not the things that sound right. You know me, Adam. I just say whatever I
Hmm.
want to say, right? I'm just letting things fly, and
Yeah.
people are loving it. And I'm like, ooh. So one of the first keys to building confidence, right? You got to have a sense of adventure and exploration. Just because you do everything somebody tell you to do, don't mean it's gonna work.
Hmm.
You got to go out there. That's why I love you. You got a sense of adventure and exploration. You always doing things your way. And then once it works, it go, ooh, the confidence goes up. Right.
Hmm.
But when I do it your way, Adam, and it don't work, you know what I get to blame? You. I get to blame you.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
did everything you told me to do. I
Yeah.
said the script. I said the objection. It just ain't working. Yeah, but you left off the part where you're supposed to be yourself and have fun,
Yeah.
right? And another part of confidence, consistency, right? Completion, competence. And I think one of the most important things when it comes to building your confidence and when it comes to like getting rid of head trash is congruence. Your insides needs to match your outsides. So a lot of
Hmm.
guys say one thing, they do the opposite, and your confidence drops, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think in a sense of when you're doing everything somebody telling you what to do, you got to go out there and have fun, have some adventure, baby. Like
Yeah.
go against the grain. Everything about Roof Hustler goes against the grain. Everything about us,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm so confident because I've done it my way for so long, and they love it.
Yeah. You knock doors in a bow tie.
Exactly. In
Like,
Converse.
I love it. And
And
Converse,
don't look nothing like a roofer.
right?
you know?
Getting into this because so much of this idea. Actually, let me start with something. I was looking through some YouTube analytics and I realized that videos on anything that says mindset does really poorly. And that either means I suck at teaching it or it's just not, people aren't biting on it, like I don't know. So I just did another video on this and it totally flopped. And it's so funny because you were the first person in my life that like really had the mindset stuff dialed. And I'll never forget, like one of our first phone calls, we're on the phone. I didn't even know you're out training a team. You're like on the doors, we're talking, and you're like, hold on 1 second. And then you start, and I'm like hearing the entire pitch. You're like holding your phone here, you're just doing your thing. And I'm sitting here pacing my It's like, how the hell does he do this? I could never do that. It's just not who I am. And anyway, you've always been a big inspiration in my mindset and just a the person that I looked up to that's just like authentically you. And I couldn't articulate it until now. And I know that there's a lot of folks that you teach. I mean, you fire people up in RSO, right? Holy crap, to leave your sessions and be like, yo, dude, Dashaun dropped that heat today. Like, it's friggin' awesome.
I love those people.
And a lot of it, what I realized is the fact that you lead with genuine love. And I know
Mhm.
that there's in this broy world, people are like, what is that? What does that even mean? What do you mean love? Like there's a level of courage and authenticity. And it's not like people will narrow it down to how you say things. They'll try to be Deshaun, bubbly, go say hi, what's up? How you doing, pretty lady? Like if I said some of the things you said, I'd get punched in the face. Uh, why? Because it wouldn't be me and it would feel forced and I'd come across as a weirdo. But that's not it. It's about showing up with courage and love and authenticity. And you sent me on a trajectory of like really wanting to dive into this mindset stuff. And then you and I, because we went to Devin Bandison, his event called Game Changers, which I highly recommend to every single person.
Please recommend it to everybody.
Yeah. Devin, I met at a high level mastermind. He's a go-to mind coach for the NBA. He also works with very, very, very high level entrepreneurs um, and Olympic athletes and more. He actually did some work with Jerry Seinfeld as well. And
Oh,
I now hired him. He's my coach. And I have never realized how important the mindset stuff is and our self-talk. So what I want to break down is confidence. Head trash is really the barrier to having confidence. And I think when I work and when you work with newer salespeople, there's a saying, confidence breeds confidence. And the only way to get competent is through repetition. But I think that you can actually fast track this. You can have a breakthrough and leap through getting confident even without competence. So let's talk through this. Like how do you help people clear their head trash to develop confidence even when they're new in learning this whole game called roofing sales?
amen. So I love that you talk about positive self-talk because you know I'm a nerd about positive self-talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I teach it to my kids, like it's non-negotiable in my house. So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing when it comes to new sales rep, how do we get rid of their head trash? Is the first thing we do is we change their language.
Mm-hmm.
So we change the language, like Devin like to call it bench warmer words, right? Those I wish, um, maybe, I hope, like all of these bench warmer words. So we replace all of those with I am, right? It's a phenomenal book called What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. Right. If y'all want a book recommendation, go read it. It'll change the game
Mm-hmm.
for you. So one of my coaches, maybe 2 years ago, he was the first guy that made me create my mantra. And he says, your declaration plus your mantra is your life operating principles. And he's like, anytime you stress, anytime you negative, you got to go to your mantra because the brain can't think a positive thought and a negative thought at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So when your negative thoughts arise, the first thing I do is I have the new sales rep is just come up with 3 simple words. Like mine's deep. So a lot of people can't go as deep as mine. I used to rap, so it's easy to put words together. So I just have guys say something like, I am happy. Homeowners look forward to speaking to me. And the ones that we do find with damage, we're going to sign them up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, first thing we do is change the language. I ask people all the time, do you spend more time talking to yourself or do you spend more time listening to yourself? And they
Mm-hmm.
like, what you mean? I'm like, well, the problem with most of y'all, you don't talk to yourself, you listen to yourself. So you believe the lies that you're telling yourself.
Yeah, you're creating a life based on those thoughts, even if you're not consciously aware of them.
They in the subconscious. And that
Yeah.
subconscious more powerful than that conscious because 20 to 22 hours of your day is unconscious thought. So majority of your day, you on autopilot. Only
Yeah.
2 to 4 hours of your day is actual conscious thoughts. And yes, and that's the opportunity that you use to create new self-talk those 2 to 4 hours a day, right? So
Yeah.
first thing first, we changing the language. Get rid of the doubt. I can't, it's I am, I will, I can, I must, right?
Mm-hmm.
I will get 4 inspections a day. I know I can get 4 inspections a day. I am the best door-to-door salesman. I am the best sales professional. The competition hate to see me in the neighborhood. Why? I don't leave no meat on the bone. You know what I mean? Just like some stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So once we change the language, the second thing we do is I tell them, identify your negative brain. Give your negative brain a name. They're like, what? I'm like, them thoughts that say, I can't do this. I should leave the field early. Nobody ain't going to buy. They this, that. Name it. So this is what I tell Adams. I say, when you growing up, did you have a nickname that you hated? And most of them be like, yeah, this one dude was like, they used to call me Chunky. I said, okay, that's what we're going to name your negative brain. So that's what we're going to name your negative brain. So every time a negative thought or a doubt creep up, that's Chunky talking.
Yeah.
That's not you. That's not the best version of you. So now you can hear that negativity. You say that's Chunky. And now you can disassociate with that voice. Because the problem with most of us, since we're not mindful, and everybody love to use that word mindful. What does
Mm-hmm.
mindful mean? Mindful means, can you identify your thoughts as they creep into that beautiful brain of yours? And can you dismiss some and not over identify with some?
Yeah.
So now we change the language, we name the negative brain, So now when the negative brain come up, we trump it. And last but not least, just three little simple go-to, because I like to be practical.
Hmm.
Once you change the language, you name the negative brain. The third thing we do is we help them create a mantra. We help them create a declaration, right? Big on those. So, for example, my field mantra goes like this: Young homeowners are eager to talk to me. They like my vibe. They want to join my tribe. Business booming so much I can't stop them from getting inspections. And when we get inspections, we're gonna get the roof bought. So I'll say that about 15, 20 times when I'm on the doors because I'm human too. The negative thoughts creep up on
Hmm.
me too, right?
Right.
I'm not immune to, I'm not, excused from it. So when
Hmm.
they come, I go mantra. Somebody looking for me. Somebody want my help. I know I'm going to find them. And I done said that mantra a few times, man. We hit that next door. We landed inspection, right? So those just three practical tips that I can give guys right off the bat. Change your language because your language creates your world. Give your negative brain a name. Stop over identifying with your negative thoughts. They are not you, they're just thoughts. And then the third thing is create a mantra, create a declaration. So when the negative thoughts do come up, you trump it with better thoughts, keep you locked in.
Yeah, I love that, man. I what do you see is the distinction between a mantra and an identity? I'll give you an example. When we ended Game Changers, the Game Changers experience, which I later, by the way, I don't know if I told you this, I sent our entire team to the
Oh,
event in New York.
where they went to?
New York, the New York event.
Oh, man, your team on fire now.
Yeah, they
They
are on.
don't need, they don't know what to do themselves no more.
And not only are they on fire, that was almost 3 months ago. They're still saying thank you for it. They're still bringing up the breakthroughs. We've developed common language. Our team said this was so powerful that everyone that joins our team will be required. This was their language, not mine. Should be required to go to Game Changers, and if they won't go, they shouldn't work for us.
Oh, I'm going back in February.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm going back.
phenomenal. And you know that when we ended that, we had our I am statements. And I work with Devin through mind surgery to replace my negative self-talk in creating my world from these negative judgments of self and others to a created life document. Similar language as a mantra. And I have mine too. Well, maybe I'll read it on another day. It's like 2.5 minutes long, so I don't want to chew up our airtime.
No, I'm that before
Uh,
it's over. I think it'd be dope. So I could
yeah.
I could say my life declaration because it's different than my field mantra,
Yeah.
and then that. Yeah. So that's just
Yeah.
my field mantra.
We'll do that. Let's
Yeah.
let's this would be relevant. Hit me with yours.
Yeah. So mine's not 2 minutes, but I gotta add some after I heard Devin. But my
Yeah.
life declaration goes like this. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, focused, and dangerous. I am a pro. Every day I'm taking steps to move my family forward. I'm changing lives everywhere I go, and I'm making connections to get keys to open new doors. I am a millionaire.
Wow. I love it, man. That's fantastic. Mine's a little longer, but I'll give it to you here. This is actually the first
Hmm.
time I've shared this publicly. Okay. I am my best self, the most magical version of me, and I create magic everywhere I go. I am courage. I am integrity. I am flow. I'm playing life for the love of the game, and I always bring my best game. I'm larger than life. I'm eternal love. I love you because I love me. I'm deeply in love with the soul of my life teammate, my wife, and my best friend. My love for her grows even deeper every day. I'm a husband, a son, a brother, a friend, a student, and a teacher who loves, learns, and leads with passion and humility. I'm a curious connector of thoughts and ideas that makes complex things simple. I am inspiration. I am empowered and I empower others. I am strong, fit, vibrant, and healthy in spirit, mind, and body. I am resilient. I am relentless. I'm playing my gifts all out and leave nothing on the table. I receive love, generosity, and abundance with an open heart and immense gratitude.
Woo.
So thank you.
Boy, that was fire. Now,
Oh,
after Devin and after hearing yours, I'm probably gonna add like another 8 bars on mine.
yeah. Yeah, it was a beautiful process going through. And when you mentioned the self-talk, it's literally the first thing that I say to myself when I wake up in the morning, even before my
Hmm.
eyes are open. I repeat it regularly. Devin has me take what he calls the daily vitamin, which is grabbing one of those things, and that's my focal point for the day. So I'll write that down in my journal. But the reason I wanted to expand in this is just to give another perspective. Since you and I, we've had multiple clients hire each other and say you guys approach the same thing from polar opposite lenses that is complementary. And Everyone thinks differently. I I really what really resonated with me about Devin's work is this idea of dragging the future into the present.
Oh,
Who do
that
you need?
breakthrough.
Yeah, who do you need to be? We focus, and I was guilty of this too, on all the doing, and then like, oh, I should do this and I can do this, and like, no, no, no. Who do you need to be? So in my I am statement, it's called the created life document. I am courage. The definition of courage, as Devin puts it, is do it afraid. I am
But even if
inspiration.
you're afraid, baby.
Yeah. And I look up these definitions. Like the definition of inspiration is the mental energy and excitement to do something creative, you know? So when you're at the door, and if for someone that has had trash, who do you need to be the best version of you on the doors? And keeping it simple, like for a lot of people, it boils down to courage, which is doing it afraid, and confidence. And hell, you choose your own definition. Those are just two that come to mind. But how easy it is to walk up to the door and close, be like, I am courage. And then just be courageous at the door. That's it. You can screw up your pitch. But dude, you are an embodiment of courage and love. That's like if I could describe your energy that's so contagious and inspiring, it is this unique, powerful combination of courage and love. You show up just with this, like, you're just going to do it. You're not, fear comes. If you have fear, it doesn't show it because you do it anyway. And you lead with love. Like there's a tremendous amount of authenticity in your desire to be there to serve. And that's something you can't teach. You can only help people be. And if for the person that walks up to the door and just says, I am courage, I am love, like, man, you're being your version, Dashaun. It's just you. It's the you version. So I just wanted to add that to the folks that may feel like a level of imposter syndrome being new and young in the business. Like, man, just identify who you need to be, turn that into an I am statement, and there's your mantra at the door as well. Just another angle on it. And I'm
No,
love to hear
and
your thoughts on that.
that's crucial because energy is everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? Energy is everything. And what people fail to realize is another thing to deal with head trash. You don't set the intentions of the type of energy you want to bring into the next environment that you walk into.
Mm-hmm.
So you just showing up lousy, you showing up blah, whatever it may be. So when I was on the doors, a season of my life that helped me become more courageous on the doors. Before I would get out my car, I would sit in my car by myself. I would release, 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 which I got this from High Performance Habits by Brendan Bouchard, right?
Really good book.
Phenomenal. And that chapter on energy resonated with me because I'm like, I always want the best energy. So I would sit in my car, box breathe, 3 in, 3 out, and I'd be like, release the tension in my face, release the tension in my arms, release, release, release. Then I would set clear intentions for how I plan on showing up for the day. So I'll be like, today I want to be courageous. I want to be bold. I want to be confident. I want to be a leader, right? I want to be relentless in my objections. Like whatever it may be, I would set clear intentions before I got in the field.
Yeah.
Boom, then I will go hit the doors. And it was amazing how I would push through more objections. It was awesome how I would actually connect with homeowners different. And I've just trained enough companies to where we pull up in the neighborhood, bro, and they just jump out and go. And I'm like, you've done nothing to anchor yourself, which is another thing I encourage guys to do to get into top tier peak mental performance. Because I view myself as a sales athlete when I'm on the doors. I'm not just a salesperson, I'm an athlete, right?
Yeah.
So I tell guys, y'all so caught up in the hype of athletes. You're just like, oh, I love, Patrick Mahomes and LeBron James. I'm like, study them. Don't be a fan. Be a student. And I ain't talking about studying his throwing mechanics. I'm talking about if you watch Patrick Mahomes before every game that he plays, what he does is he walks to this end zone, walks to the opposite team end zone, sits in the end zone. He say a prayer there every single game on the opposite team's end zone. Say a prayer. He do his prayer, non-negotiable, come up out of that. He do his little hype thing. Then he walk down there. He start practicing. And he says, I like to just pray on the opposite side of the other team because this is me like claiming my territory. But that's how he gets anchored before he go play the game. So for me, before I hit the doors, everybody know I pray every day before we even get on the doors, right? And like I love Devin so much because my prayer is almost like a mantra, and it's Dear Heavenly Father, I ask that you allow the day to be a great day. Ask that you bless us with the knowledge, the courage, the strength, the wisdom, the power through our day at the highest level possible. Allow us to be sharp as attack, enthusiastic, and a force to be reckoned with, Father God. Allow us to come out here and help as many homeowners as we can, and allow us to finish the day how we start the day, and that's strong. I say this thing in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And then when I come out to prayer, we do 3 big claps, 1, 2, 3, and then I say game time. And then I hit my first door.
Yeah, it's freaking beautiful, man.
Yeah. And I tell people, how don't you win with that anointment, right? Like, how don't you win when you get yourself in such a beautiful headspace before you go deal with the most difficult thing in the world, which is humans, right?
And it all depends, like it all boils down. The language that you use, very similar to what Devin uses, your words create your world.
Mm-hmm.
And if you define success as showing up, being your best every day, you can't fail.
You can't fail.
Even when you strike out on the doors, you can't fail. You just learned a whole bunch of stuff to get better. And by the way, welcome to sales. That's the day. That's your highest of highs, followed by your lowest of lows. So what advice would you give someone? Because there are folks who, and I was one of them years ago, that and even though I got my undergraduate degree at this university called Naropa, which by the way is like a real quacky school, and my undergraduate degree was in contemplative psychology, basically studying Eastern psychology, Buddhism specifically.
Oh, Buddhism! I love Buddhism.
And I'm not Buddhist. I'm not Buddhist, but I studied the
practices are beautiful.
Philosophy and practices applies to psychology. And I spent basically 4 years sitting on a meditation cushion. And even with my background in woo-woo-ness, and even more, I was a natural medicine practitioner, colon hydrotherapist, all this quacky stuff. And for those that don't know, you can Google colon hydrotherapist. Just make sure you finish lunch first. And I hear some of this stuff, and some people are like, man, that's hooky. Like, what words of wisdom would you share with someone who is resistant to the profundity of what we're talking about, and the importance of self-talk, and the importance of being able to control our mind through our thoughts, and how we can control our thoughts through our language? How would you break through to that resistant person that's like, Dashaun, it's not for me?
Okay, so can I get a little woo-woo real quick too?
Right? Please do.
So I believe in God at a very high level. We ain't gonna bring religions into this because I have no religion, but we just gonna talk about God and the power of God, right? And if you believe in God, you got to relate to this. The first thing you know about humans is you're built in the image of God. So you're not God, but you built in the image of God, right? Which means you're almost like a baby God, right? I'm saying, because you built in the image of a God. So you're like a baby God, right? And God is a creator. He's not a creature. So if you built in the image of God, that means you're a creator on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way God created this universe, he said, let there be light. They didn't say he took hydrogen, codone, oxygen, some peroxide, whatever the chemicals is, put them in a bowl and mixed them and threw them up and created the sun. That's how he created the sun. He said, let there be light. In other words, he spoke it, right? And then boom, the sun was up. And even somewhere in the Bible, it says, I don't know the exact verse, but he says, the tongue is a double-edged sword. You either create life or you either create death, right? So let's just let that be the foundation. Now, I want you to ask yourself this question, right? As a sales rep, think about all the things that's happened in your life in some form of fashion. And then go back and ask yourself all of the thoughts you thought before those things took place. Were they random, or did you think them into reality? The year me and Adam joined the year I joined the Pitch Pro movement with Adam, I created a vision board. I said, this year I will become a part of a mentorship team. I will become a mentor. I will join a mentorship team. That same year, boom, Pitch Pro movement was created. Right? So for the guys that's doubting this, you're a creator. So now let's take it a layer deep. You're a brain that has a body. You're not a body that has a brain. You don't need this stuff from the neck down to be great. I just want to let you know, there's people out there that's paralyzed doing amazing stuff, right? You look at David Hawkins, he writing books and he in a wheelchair and he can't physically do nothing, but the dude is a multimillionaire, right? Because this beautiful brain does all of the work. So I tell people, you have to learn how to control your thoughts. The day you learn how to control your thoughts, your life will change in a way you can't even imagine. And it's hard for you to fathom this because your words are creating such a lousy experience for you that you just like, man, things always happening to me. Why me? Why this? And the day you change your language and start controlling your thoughts, man, I said I wanted my son to be born at 25 when I was 25 years old. I've been saying that since I was 13, man. I'm having my first kid at 25, first kid at 25. My son was born when I was 25. Before I met Sam Taggart, I met another gentleman named Michael O'Donnell. I told Michael O'Donnell, the first time I ever meet Sam, I'm going to be on his podcast. The first time I ever met Sam, we did a podcast. I can't lie to you, Adam. Like these things,
Yeah.
like when I started Roof Hustlers, and this is why I battle with this, Adam. People always said, because I know this. They said, "Did you want to make what you trying to do? Make YouTube money?" I said, "No." That's why I ain't making YouTube money yet. I said, "No, I don't want to make YouTube money. I want to fly across the country, go to other roofing companies, and train their teams."
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do with this Roof Hustlers thing. 3 years later, we fly across the country and we coach and train roofing sales teams. So you got to understand you're creating the world that you're experiencing. And you got serendipities, but life ain't no coincidence, man. And when you understand that this beautiful brain that God gave you creates everything that you experience in your life, man, you'll start being more mindful with your words. You'll start being more mindful with your thoughts. You'll start being more mindful with your intentions. And now you'll start living the world that you're creating.
Dude, that was magic. Listen, thank you for being here. If you want to hear more of Dashaun's wisdom, jump into this video right here for the top 5 door-to-door sales mistakes even pros make. We'll see you on the next one. Dashaun, thanks again, brother.
Much love, baby.